All right. Games journalism is dead. And this last E3, well, that just put the nail in the coffin. I remember a time when I was a kid, I would I relied on games journalism to tell me what the new hot game was. Basically, why I should buy it, what it offered me. And with the downfall of games journalism, we've also had a downfall in games in general. This year probably showed the most promising games I've seen in a long time. This coming from a guy who's wasted a lot of money on games like Destiny, Fallout 76, Anthem, No Man's Sky. You know, I've wasted a lot of money in those games. But you know what? It's fine because I enjoy gaming. And I still used to rely on games journalism to tell me what's so great about this game, you know. Why should I buy it? What it has to offer me? But after watching a lot of these reactions to some of these games, I'm just like, it's dead. I don't know if, you know, companies like IGN or Kotaku are hiring active gamers to do their journalism, or they're just not putting them in the right areas. You know, an example, I'm not a big fan of horror games. I won't play a horror game. And that's my thing. I don't like horror games. So I would not be able to confidently give a review on a horror game because it'd make me feel odd having to play it. Now, in comes some of the journalists covering, you know, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And I think they put certain people in the wrong areas. You know, they put the wrong type of media personnel to cover this game when, in fact, they shouldn't have been covering it. They may be great journalists. I'm not going to say, but that just may not have been the game that they really enjoy playing. That type of genre, especially in the sense of, you know, them saying, "Oh, it made me uncomfortable. I personally would not play this game," and I mean that's their opinion, but what's the opinion of somebody who would play the game? That's what I want to know. What's the opinion of somebody that would play this type of genre? That's who I would take more serious. But games journalism is so dead that we have to, and I'm not saying it's bad, I really do enjoy commentators like The Quartering or Angry Joe or Skill Up. Like, that's who I get my news from. I started doing YouTube just recently because I just got tired of all these, either they're paid for the review or they have an agenda at hand. I'm not famous, nor do I think that I'll ever be famous, but, you know, gaming's a hobby of mine. And I think, honestly, that's where a lot of the journalism aspects of gaming has went wrong, is they're not hiring people, they're not covering games that people that they're enjoying playing. You know, they're being forced to play a game that they just don't like. I mean, who was it? For a long time, there used to be this show on G4 TV when that was still a thing. It used to have like Olivia Munn and I don't know who the rest of the people were. I just remembered Olivia Munn because I had she was my childhood crush. But they never used to give Final Fantasy a fair review. But I think it was because, honestly, they just weren't into RPG games. You know? That just wasn't their thing. And fair enough. But the thing was, everybody knew that. But did it ever stop Final Fantasy from making games? Did Final Fantasy, Sony ever change the game because of the negative press coverage that they were receiving? No. They just left it the same. But now you look at what's happening with the big games. Everybody just wants a piece of it to knock off, and it's all opinion pieces. It's not facts. You know, everybody's just trying to put in their 2 cents to have the developers make a change or whatever. Oh, the game's doomed to fail. They're probably gonna fall on their face. You know what? If they fall on their face, they fall on their face. If they don't, they don't. You know, but and I guess I blame the developers for listening to these people and not really listening to their fan base. And I know for a fact because I've heard rumors that they are actually going to make changes to Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And if they do, they're doing it just to pander to the press. And I'm going to tell you what, they're not going to get my business. You know, I'm not a games journalist. I'm a consumer. That's the difference between me and games journalists. They get their games for free. They test them. I'm going to go pay for my game. And I wasted last year was such an eye-opening experience for me as far as pre-ordering games. I'm never doing that again. But because of the negative reaction that Call of Duty was receiving from the journalists, as far as it making them uncomfortable, I wanted that game. Life is not comfortable. Call of Duty, until recent, that's their storylines have always been uncomfortable. They always make you think, you know, when it comes to anything. But with them pandering to the press and making changes, that's not Call of Duty. If they're gonna make changes, I'm done. I'm done with Activision. I won't be buying their game. Will they succeed? I know they will, but not with me. Anyways, that's my thoughts. Y'all have a great day. Take care.